Yes, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Um, I think education has some problems also because we're not getting maybe the right people into the education profession, and I think that's a perspective which, as educators, we all share. But when we spoke to the children and we asked them why is it that the youth is not looking at teaching as a profession, they had some interesting perspectives, and they have some thoughts on how maybe perhaps education and teaching could be made more aspirational, and perhaps we need to rebrand
Education,
education and
yeah,
teaching.
definitely. We would be remiss if while empathizing, we didn't study the crux of the education system, which is that is the mindset of teachers and potential teachers. In fact, we had a team that studied that. So, are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready. So we'd
Yes.
like to continue where we left off. So reforms and progress in education is perhaps the most important policy issue in our nation today. Otherwise, we may soon realize that the much touted demographic dividend of our nation is nothing but an illusion, as we are left with groups of unemployable youth unable to join the workforce. So what is the demographic dividend that we are talking about? The age groups 0 to 6 years form 13.4% of our population. The age groups 7 to 14 years form 19.4% of our population. And the age groups 15 to 59 years form 57% of our population. The youth is the demographic dividend of our nation. And we need to exploit this in order to achieve a better position. To achieve a better position, quality education is needed. Quality education is required to mobilize these young minds and enable them to think better, to be a part of our progress. But to make our reforms reach every corner of our nation, what we really require is quality educators.
Our government schools, especially those in the rural areas, paint a very sorry picture of our education system today. We lack in both quality and quantity when it comes to teachers. India ranks very poorly when we compare student-teacher ratios from countries across the globe. The only inference? We just don't have enough teachers to teach a large student population. Even where we do have teachers, the government-sponsored probe report, which was undertaken in four states, made startling discoveries. In about half the schools they visited, no apparent teaching activity was taking place. 1 in 4 teachers in a government school was absent on a given day, and only 1 in 2 was actually teaching. There is no system in place to motivate our teachers to improve the academic achievements of their students, and no resources available for them to hone their skills and develop better teaching techniques. Why is it that we cannot produce quality teachers? Why is teaching no longer considered a viable career option? Why are our educators no longer enjoying the exalted position they once enjoyed in society? And this I find rather ironical, because our culture and our stratification system always venerated the Brahmin caste, which was engaged in imparting education. The honor and respect that we bestow on our quintessential gurus has eroded in recent times.
When we rebrand a product, you rebrand a product when you want to reposition it in the market. You rebrand a product when you want to revalue it and increase its demand. Rebrand a product when you want to revive its failing fortune. We need to make teaching a career prospect, a very interesting and lucrative career prospect. Teaching has to be rebranded. Being an educator should be something that people aspire for. People proudly say, "Mera beta engineer banega, mera beta doctor banega." We should reach a time when people say, "Nahi, mera beta teacher banega." We need to position teaching in such a way that society looks up to it as a profession which is respectable enough to work for.
Man works when there is an incentive, plain and simple. You want more people to come and teach? Provide some incentive. Make sure your teachers are paid well and regularly. If this means that the government has to spend a much higher amount on education, then so be it. It has to be done because money is probably the most effective way of providing incentive. Salaries must be reviewed periodically, and certain essential facilities like nearby accommodation, inclusion of health and retirement benefits should also be a part of the package. It is necessary to improve promotional prospects in order to attract and retain talent. Promotions should directly be linked to your performance as a teacher, just like all other corporate jobs. Qualified and trained teachers in primary schools must be considered for promotion as a headmaster or inspectors of school. Glorify teaching. Instill a sense of pride among teachers by highlighting the role they play in laying the foundation and building blocks for the development of our country. Now, this is something Teach for India has been doing very successfully. Yeah. Acknowledge teachers. National awards must be given to identify and acknowledge extraordinary work done in this field. Media can play an instrumental role over here. We need more shows like CNN IBN's India Positive, which can showcase exemplary work done by teachers from different parts of our country so that they feel recognized. And just this much can certainly go a long way. Many believe that the quality of education in our country is poor because our educators are not trained in the right field. For instance, the mandatory B.Ed course tests you more on facts and how much you already know rather than the important skills one requires for teaching. Moreover, teachers must be required to complete a specified amount of research work or a certain number of courses for professional development. These courses should be facilitated by the government so that the teachers, especially from the rural areas, don't have to spend too much from their own pocket.
Um, have we lost you, or are you still online?
I think they seem to be frozen.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
We just checked that and maybe
Yep.
think they kind
no,
of had
but
wound up.
yeah, I think so. I think so. That was rather exciting. In fact, it's nice to know that these students have, if you want to know the seed that these thoughts germinated from, they were talking to me the other day, and what they said was there is an IAS and there is an IPS, and these are such aspirational jobs. There should be an ITS
Yes.
in an Indian teaching service, and they said, so we need to rebrand education to make it, to turn it on its head and make it something so that it's not the last dog at the bowl, so that real good talent is first attracted to the education sector and then to the others. And it's exciting to hear that they had such practical viewpoints on it. They've studied not just high and mighty ideas, but also pay the teachers better, pay them on time.
Practical, pragmatic
Yes,
solutions.
and also the high and mighty ones where you make teaching. Are you back online?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
I think we should let them finish. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to
Varun,
say.
yes. We heard Varun last.
Okay. So our policymakers need to realize that there is a problem. They need to realize that changes are long due. But at the same time, expecting a sudden overhaul in our system all too quickly would seem a bit foolhardy on our part. The change must be gradual. The change must be sustained. As we live in global times, it's become
So we lost you again temporarily.
We could have Dr. Sujatas.
Yes. line? Rohan? All right. Yes.
Yes. Dr. Sujata, any thoughts at this point of time that you'd like to share, since they're just trying to fix their net?
It's difficult to disagree with anything that the students are saying. um, I have a few pointers. I mean, not pointers. I mean, so the first thing is, when did it become a problem? Personally, I feel that we have now made education mainstream. I mean, it was always a problem, but the numbers were small and we didn't see it. Today, the numbers are large and therefore we see it. That's one. Second, it's not a problem that's unique to India. The world over, people are grappling with what is the then third, um, I feel that when we talk about education, we have left it solely to the schools. Parents, families, society, all of this had a role to play in education earlier, and people in those sectors have just abdicated their responsibility as far as teaching values or teaching other aspects of education that society wants to revere. As far as imparting them to the children, I think people have abdicated roles, and all that should come back as well. School is not the only place where you can impart knowledge or where you can impart values. We should come back to a stage where this is a continuous process. Students absorb it from the media, from the family, from their neighbors. Whereas today, we have, what are the role models that television is projecting or projecting. I have no problems. I have no problems with the role models that they're projecting, but it is solely of one kind. The other, why don't we celebrate Palash Sen much more? Why doesn't the media make him a hero? Why doesn't the media make a hero of so many others who have, Damayanti, for instance, who have just walked away from what would have been their path and done something? These are small stories, but these are stories which are worth publicizing, and people, one way or the other, will get inspired by them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole societal mindset has to maybe change. I mean, why is it that we hold only the the educators and the schools responsible for education? I agree with you there, because somewhere we're finding that parents feel once the children are in school, they will get educated, and their responsibility is over.
For instance, I would like to see all the students who put up such fantastic presentations be mentors, talk to other younger students about what they believe is right, or it's a very important role that they can play. When they talk to the younger students about what else they can do different, and why they should be doing something different, and so on. They can talk about it on social networks, they can post, they can blog, and so on.
I think that's a very good suggestion, and to some extent, we've done it in our school. We've created this a group called Drishtikon group, where we have people, from across ages, and they are sharing their views on, and there's younger children, there are older children, there are parents, there are people from society. So everybody's sharing perspectives, and I think somewhere we're trying to change the status quo from what it is, trying to build that perspective, a little a wider outlook to issues. Because what we find is that there was a time when we used to tell our children, watch the news or read the newspaper, and so today we find that they consume a lot of news, but to form a balanced opinion and a view, which is which they can support it, they're just kind of reciting it and narrating it verbatim.
Yeah, absolutely.
So forming opinions and being able to convince us with those, and balanced opinions, and a well thought out decision, rather than just what everybody's saying.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, just like education, even media today, ma'am, has become about projecting viewpoints directly into your head, rather than just narrating facts and asking you to form your own viewpoints. And so we really felt this need to have an all year round space, forum for students to continuously be giving their own viewpoints, and we really encourage that, and it's given good results, we believe.
And I think Raj agree with me. Yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah, they're back on it.
Are they
no, we just
Yes, Rohan, are you back online?
We are back online.
Yeah,
Alright,
okay,
great.
Till
that's
where did you hear us?
okay.
Rohan, you were telling us about how the policymakers need to make a change.
So what I was trying to say is that they need, when we're asking for change, but we don't want to change, I mean, we don't want a complete overhaul very suddenly, because that's going to create a lot more problems. At least that's what I feel. So what we really need is a gradual change, but a sustained change. So since we live in global times, it's mandatory for us to rid our system of the parochial outlook it's long been entrenched in. And the answer that our youth really seeks is certitude. And the youth deserves it. That's what we're trying to say.